I look at you quizzically. Welcome to yet another albeit late. Sorry, Bride Guy 2000 for being a little bit later. Technically speaking, we weren't really planning on doing this, and except for like maybe a couple hours ago, we planned on doing this, and circumstance prevented us from starting until a little bit later, and that's the reason why we're starting late. Sorry about that. But welcome to your October. I know we are 7 days in November, but still our October podcast to talk about the 2019 Academy Awards nominations. We do the big 8 categories yet again. Once again, my name is Owen. I'm fresh off of Halloween Horror Nights 28, Street of the Year. Gotta love it. And also joining me, as always, the return of this network of Ashley.
You'll be saying that every video. If anything, I should be quoting bloody Pac's tweet. I'm back, yes, shits.
Yeah, I saw what he posted. Once again, yes, we will be bringing, speaking of that, something we haven't talked about in a millennia, it seems like, on this network. Wrestling content will be returning to the Popcast Network very soon as well.
So. I've still got to do the 2 videos wrapping up September, October, because there's a lot that Owen needs to be kept abreast on in case he hadn't. Or he's been busy being Street of the Year.
Yes, exactly. Bry Guy says, welcome back, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, fresh off the very successful debut of the brand new segment, Speaking Bluntly, here on the Popcast Network, we also present AJ.
Yes, you do.
Please tell me when you touch on the animated stuff, you're going to note that the irony that Romeo and Juliet are also Angelina Ballerina's mother and father.
It's actually already shot, and that does somewhat come up.
Yeah, I was going to say, because when I was looking on the Wikipedia to see what there was, and I was like, wait, there was an Angelina Ballerina, and it's like, oh my God, McAvoy was in that as well. Mind blown.
I'm
doing the Smallfoot thing.
I remember Romeo and Juliet. It was from a different time, a much different time in my life.
At least it wasn't Sherlock Gnomes.
No, I never got to watch that one, actually. I am dirt poor right now, and needless to say, I have not watched a movie for a long time. Last thing I watched was Goosebumps. The second one, don't get your...
No, 2, right. The TV movie.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, at the end of this past month, the Academy already released their list.
What list?
Welcome back, says Jeremy Mills, said, miss you guys. Yeah, we missed everybody, too. Sorry, everything's been a little disjointed on the network. We basically have turned into Voices of Liberty featuring Sip and Snack and a whole lot of AJ. And I'm okay with that. Very much okay with that, actually. Pop Concert's really getting a kick in the pants as starting out, too. So, yeah. Like I said, AJ's got his brand new segment, Speaking Bluntly, which is doing really well. So thanks, guys and girls out there, for checking that out and enjoying that. More verses, more AJ's movie reviews. We just finished a successful run of the horror-themed verses. And we got a lot of cool stuff coming in the near future. Ashley's returning back very soon. So everything's going to pretty much pop back to normal here on the network. So looking forward to that. But right now, for Best Animated Feature, says Bright Guy.
Okay. I'm trying to find it because I went to Oscars and it's not there. I guess I've got to go to the actual Academy Awards page.
And True That I Am Not a Witch is the UK submission for foreign language film.
Yeah, I think we knew that last month because I mentioned it at some point. Whether it gets in or not, we'll see. I'm not getting my hopes up.
So what we're doing tonight is we're going to do the exact same thing we've been doing since August, which I know it's only been 2 months, but still, technically speaking, that means you're going to get 2 videos in the month of November. Right after towards Survivor Series is when you're going to be getting your next Oscar podcast for the month of November. Then the end of December, leading very close to New Year's Eve. And then January, we're going to try to predict the entire lineup. Yes, all the categories, and that's going to be blasty blast like always. So looking forward to that. And thanks everyone for joining us super late here on the East Coast and wherever you're joining us tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. I know it was last minute, quite literally, because I didn't even promote the show. So it's very awesome getting viewership right away. So we're going to go through the big 8 categories. But before we do so, we've had a lot of going-ons in the last month or so. AJ, what's the state of the race right now?
Well, one thing I'll mention quickly, the only one going in that direction, the whole Ad Astra thing, where we weren't sure where it stood, and the whole thing about it getting a January release, so surely it's going for the limited release in December whole thing. Well, it doesn't matter anymore because it's been bumped to May. So
there we go.
So that's
damn you, Fox/Disney.
Some things are doing a lot better than they were last time we did this. I mean, they were still kind of there, but they're doing even better. What the hell did you just do?
Well, I just heard like a sound, like a weird sound come out from my computer, and it's like, that's not good. And sometimes it pauses and randomly, and then I like look at it and I stare at Ashley's face for like 10 minutes because
it went like what's his name from Buddy South Park? The voice.
You don't see what I see right now, fans. So continue, AJ.
Apparently, even we kind of built it up a little bit before, but apparently even more than we even realized, the Favorite and Green Book are really starting to rise in buzz, like to the point that they're being considered like top 5. I don't know how true that's going to be in a couple of months, but apparently that's where they seem to be right now. And I think that's also, I know, at least here, there's still another month before Mary Queen of Scots comes out.
Right.
But the Favorite taking off this much really seems to already be making Mary Queen of Scots like a distant memory.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna it seems like it's gonna really have an uphill battle when it gets here to break out past the tech categories.
Okay.
Just trying to have a quick look because I think it's actually coming out here in January. It's actually getting released in America, but that's because obviously for films to be eligible for BAFTAs, they have to be released like the week before the ceremony, which is like February. It doesn't have to be by like the end of the calendar year sort of thing. Yeah, 18th of January is the UK release date. So it's having its limited releases over there ahead of time just to obviously be in the consideration and all that.
Okay.
Another thing I had brought up before that I wasn't sure about, that I think I was the only one of the 3 of us even talking about anyway, but the idea of whether Portman was going leading or supporting for Vox Lux. Apparently it's supporting, so that probably killed that, but
and she got burned by Jackie, so she's like, nope, I'm going supporting.
And I feel like I should just probably mention this for my own sake, but apparently Widows still has quite a bit of buzz behind it. For some reason, I'm still not feeling it, and I may or may not regret that.
Oh! God damn it, I saw it about 6 hours ago. No, 12 hours ago. Man, Steve McQueen knows how to direct films that aren't just arty pieces. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to give away too much, but
this conversation.
Let's just say it's popping up a lot in my list.
I've had it since day one, so I think I'm pulling an AJ this year in all essence because if you look at it, AJ likes to not watch the movie trailers before he goes into a movie. He goes in completely blind. I'm going into the season without not watching any movies and see what happens. Not necessarily by my own choice. It's because money talks and Owen ain't got it. So there you go.
And Street of the Year.
Exactly.
Oh, by the way, the mystery film at the London Film Festival that we were talking about last time was actually Green Book, and it did get the acclaim that it did. Favorite also got a lot of buzz over here.
Right.
To some extent, Suspiria, but then that's left people divided.
Right.
I just love the fact the guy that did the Love trilogy then does this afterwards. Can't think of the other ones off the top of my head. Stan and Ollie. The interesting situation with that is they actually are doing at certain cinemas. They're doing Christmas showings with. Is it the Magic Box? Like one of the classic Laurel and Hardys. They're doing it as sort of like a double feature, if you will. But because of what, but yeah, because of where it falls in the week, it's normally the time I go shopping, so I'm probably not going to see it unless they do another showing like in between Christmas and New Year, because that's how I managed to catch 3 billboards early last year. So I guess I'll have to hope to do the same with that one. But that got quite a bit of buzz as well as the closing film. And then Widows obviously opened and got, I wouldn't say it was overall acclaim because it's not like 5 stars everywhere, but most of them were like 4s, and it's got enough of a positive run to. The weird thing as well, I will say, it is an actual Fox film. It's not Fox Searchlight like nearly all the other Film 4 stuff, like 3 billboards and Shape of Water was Fox Searchlight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than Fox. This is actual like Fox, if that's a thing. So
works for me.
They're going balls out on it, sort of thing.
All right. So let's talk about the categories. We're going to go one by one through the big 8, and then we're going to, if you'd like to play along here, obviously you can do so in our live chat room if you're here live. If you're in archive, leave a video, and you're more than welcome to be involved and tell what you think is going to run for the Oscar when it comes to the month of October, even though it's beginning of November. I'm aware. That's what happens when you get really busy with Halloween Horror Nights. So let's get started with our first category. I'm going to go into the screenplay category, and we're going to start with Best Adapted Screenplay. AJ?
I really wish I could get more creative here, but I didn't change it again. I still have Beautiful Boy, Black Klansman, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star Is Born. I'd say the vulnerable one here is Beautiful Boy, because now that it's like out, I'm not. I mean, I don't know that I'm exactly looking as hard as I could be, but it's not like it doesn't seem to be exploding particularly,
right?
Except in certain areas. And I almost said The Hate U Give in its place, but for whatever reason, I just can't seem to let go of Beautiful Boy yet. So I'm just going to hang on to it, and the other 4 I think are pretty solidly here, at least for now.
Okay. Ashley?
I made one change. First Man dropped out. So I have Star Is Born, Beautiful Boy, Black Klansman, Leave No Trace, and the one that comes in, which I think was in originally in the first place, Widows. The way the script was done, it's like Black Lives Matter meets a heist movie meets basically anything involved in current day politics, even though it's set in 2008. That's how well, because ironically, Widows is actually the original Widows, the TV series from like the 80s and 90s, actually is on Amazon Prime over here. I haven't seen it because I didn't want it to sort of taint my view as whether like, oh well, the TV series did it better or whatever. Probably shouldn't have done that because now I'm going to think that the movie did it better. But I don't think it was the movie was set, or the TV series was set in Britain, and it wasn't set in like 2008 Chicago. So they've done a very good rewrite and trying to contemporize it and get whatever themes that McQueen was wanting to do with it. And I guess Gillian Flynn is somewhat 2 for 2 because there was a lot of praise for the script for Gone Girl, because she did adapt her own book, didn't she, for that one?
For Gone Girl,
yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's my 5.
I'm with AJ here, but before we get to that, and if you remember what I said last month, we're going to go through what we have in chat room. Bry Guy says, Black Klansman, Crazy Rich Asians, going to try that 5 times fast. The hate you give if Beale Street could talk and A Star is Born. Mr. Top Hat has Beautiful Boy, Can You Ever Forgive Me? First Man, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star is Born. And if you didn't remember, my lineup remains the same for adapted. Black Klansman, A Star is Born, First Man, Widows, and If Beale Street Could Talk. I think a lot of people are counting out First Man right now. I don't think it's out of the race yet. We'll see what happens. And I've had hopes for Widows since day one. Black Klansman, I think, slides in without any real competition whatsoever when it comes to getting in. I almost guarantee it gets in at this point. A Star is Born is the juggernaut that it is, and If Beale Street Could Talk is gaining ground. So that's what I foresee. Murphy Boy 92, If Beale Street Could Talk, First Man, Can You Ever Forgive Me? A Star is Born, and Widows. Let's move on to the other length of the spectrum, and that's going to be Best Original Screenplay. AJ?
Actually, before we go on, I do have a question real quick.
Okay.
Ashley, I don't know if you have seen this movie or not, but one thing that kept going through my head, I think when I think about the kind of movie Widows is and what its chances are, if you have seen this movie, is it at all comparable to Set It Off?
I guess because of like the deeper meaning behind it, although it's not entirely in that term of heist, it's got themes of Inside Man to some extent. There's a lot of stuff. There's it's like Inside Man meets 12 Years a Slave. There's themes of that in it. There's themes of it's very much Wire-esque as well.
Oh,
because you're seeing it from multiple different points of view.
We're talking about the HBO television program, The Wire.
It's just because it's from multifaceted points. Because you got the politician's view, you've got the police view of sorts, you've got the gang view. There's all sorts of various different hot button topics that are sort of covered somehow in 2 hours and 10 minutes. Somehow they managed to do that in 2 hours and 10 minutes. The original series, which was nothing like it, took 6 hours. Then guess if you count the second series, which from what I can tell is nowhere where Widows is going. Widows is a standalone. It's not going to be made into a sequel. Spoilers, they do not go to Rio de Janeiro like in the original one. Come to think of it, how much was the budget on that second series of the TV show if they had to film it all in Brazil? Or did they just film it in a car park in London and make it look like it was Brazil? But no, yeah, it's very sort of Wire-esque in terms of it's not just narrow vision. There's multiple different views and there's multiple twists and turns. It's not like a straight thing. There's things intercede and come out and come back in. Things like that. I don't want to say too much because I want you to enjoy it instead of fucking Fantastic Beasts.
That makes a lot more sense now.
Okay.
I guess we'll find out the next time we do one of these.
Does AJ like it? Well, I guess we'll find that out when the review comes up in a week or so.
AJ, what do we got for Best Original Screenplay?
I might have made a decision here I'm going to regret, but I said The Favorite, First Reformed, Green Book, Roma, and Vice. Obviously, that means I bumped Bo Burnham out.
Bo gone.
And you would think the first person I'd go towards to bump out would be Paul Schrader. But once again, for some reason, I'm just stuck on that. And it's like, I feel like a legend like Paul Schrader is much more likely than Bo Burnham type, where it's like this. Is this like his first script? Or I know he's been in a comedian for quite some time, but even so,
it's his first movie, I believe. Obviously, he's written the comedy specials that have been on YouTube or Netflix and whatever, but the first movie stuff.
Because I was originally going to keep it the way I had it, but with Green Book getting the attention that it's getting, it's like it's almost hard to buy it not being here, so I had to bump something out, and 8th grade was the first one to go, or first reformed, so obviously the other three speak for themselves.
Ashley?
Mine stayed pretty much the same. One change, though. So 8th grade favourite, Green Book and Roma survive. But Isle of Dogs departs for Adam McKay for Vice. After having seen the trailer, which I think got posted to the UK YouTube channel that I'm subscribed to about 7 minutes before it was even put on the American one. I'm pretty sure I sent that link over to you, didn't I, Owen? Just pass on to AJ.
I think so. I forgot.
Like, this is the first one. It's ahead of everybody else. Having seen it, and it just looks like it's got the same wit and wisdom, at least from the way the trailer looks, as The Big Short. I want to put it in just because I'm excited for it. And just because I needed something to fill the Isle of Dogs spot, because I think that's just me. That was me clinging on for hope. It's got more of a chance, I think, in the animated feature film than in screenplay.
Okay. Again, before we get started, best original screenplay for the chat. We have Bry Guy says 8th grade, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, and A Quiet Place. Mr. Top Hat says The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, Sorry to Bother You, and Vice. And Smurfy Boy 92 says Roma, The Favorite, Green Book, 8th grade, and Vice. So Smurfy Boy agrees, and Ash, I agree with you completely, 100%. Mine, has, of course, has not changed since last time. Still remains Green Book, Roma, 8th grade, The Favorite, and Vice. Simple and easy. Best Supporting Actress.
I made a couple of changes to this one.
Same. I was forced to.
I have Amy Adams for Vice, Nicole Kidman for Boy Erased, Regina King for Beale Street Could Talk, Emma Stone for The Favorite, and Rachel Weisz for The Favorite. The ones I had in here before are Margot Robbie and Amy Ryan. Amy Ryan just kind of seems to be, any sort of buzz seems to be non-existent at this point, and given the fact that the movie's out now, kind of makes that seem like I should give it up at this point. Margot Robbie. First off, me deciding to bump out Margot Robbie, I hope there is no. I hope that does not come off in any way like I'm holding on to a bias against her from last season, because that's not that. It's basically just what we talked about before, where Mary Queen of Scots is going to have a really uphill battle to get past the tech categories, I think, especially with The Favorite in its way. And going with Vice was an easy choice, because as we talked about last time, it's like, if there's a double nomination in supporting actress is just so incredibly common that, and with The Favorite in the position it's in now, that's just really easy to see happening. I know a lot of people are saying Claire Foy, but I just didn't really. I don't want to say I just got that vibe from watching the movie, because I think I even said when I reviewed it I didn't think she was going to get in after having just seen it. But I don't really know. Maybe Kidman's vulnerable, because Boy Erased is still kind of like just now being really pushed into the spotlight with the press and all that. But and I didn't go with Amy Adams last time for some reason, but she was one of the first people I was gonna bring back, so that's how I landed on these.
Okay, Ashley.
My 5 has not adjusted. It's still Claire Foy for First Man, Emma Stone for The Favorite, Rachel Weisz for The Favorite, Margot Robbie for Mary Queen of Scots, and Meryl Streep for Mary Poppins Returns. Insert, because Meryl Streep nearly always gets in somehow every year. Although I do want to give, I'm making this call now, even though we don't actually do predictions for the BAFTAs. And I'm just putting it in here because I guess she'd be considered supporting if they were to put her in, even though she really isn't in the movie enough. Because I'm sticking on the whole widow stuff. I would not be surprised, and I'm probably going to say it now, that Cynthia Erivo is probably going to get nominated for the BAFTA Rising Star. With that and Bad Times at the El Royale, it's a pretty good debut year for her. So I think it's enough in two pretty meaty roles, I think, for her to be established as, an actual rising star. Plus, I don't know what the criteria is for rising star, because she is like in her 30s. I don't know if you have to be sort of like under 30, which would be a shame. But yeah, I'm putting that out there. Just as something to mix up my supporting actress picks, even though they actually haven't changed.
Okay. Once again from chat, we have Bry Guy says Linda Cardellini for Green Book, Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk, Emma Stone for The Favorite, Meryl Streep for Mary Poppins Returns, and Rachel Weisz for The Favorite. Murphy Boy says Amy Adams, Claire Foy, Regina King, Emma Stone, and Rachel Weisz. And Mr. Top Hat says Amy Adams, Regina King, Margot Robbie, Emma Stone, and Nicole Kidman. Hey, AJ. I match you.
Really?
Yep. Best Supporting Actress. I still have Amy Adams for Vice. I also have Nicole Kidman for Boy Erase. And I have Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk. Once again, I also jumped off the Margot Robbie bandwagon and added Rachel Weisz for The Favorite. I'm doing a double nomination with newly minted Supporting Actress nominee Emma Stone, which of course replaced Olivia Colman, who I had running leading, and Emma Stone didn't work out. But Colman was running supporting, Stone was running leading, and then they absolutely flipped it when everything came out. So needless to say, I was like, okay, double nod for The Favorite, and then Kidman, Adams, and King. I'm okay with this. See if anybody else say anything in chat. No. So we move from supporting actress to supporting actor. AJ.
Yeah, I don't know if my biases are coming into play here, but I almost made one change, but I ended up making no changes, so it's the same as it was before.
Okay.
With Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Timothy Chalamet for Beautiful Boy, Adam Driver for Black Klansman, Sam Elliott for A Star Is Born, and Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me. I'm starting to question if Adam Driver is my bias or not, because obviously I was this close to putting Daniel Kaluuya in his place. And I don't know. I don't know if it's just my bias towards Black Klansman in general, how well I want it to do. But
right, which means you've killed it already before the movie comes out.
Yeah, and they both have it going for them because Driver is a very well-respected actor that hasn't been nominated yet. But for Kaluuya, not only is he just getting a lot of attention for this role, but it's the perfect Afterglow nomination. So,
True.
Yeah, but I went ahead and stuck with Adam Driver. So I think that's also my whole thing of being unsure about widows just in general. Because before Ashley explained it to me, I was basically just imagining it was a set-it-off type action movie. So, But yeah.
Okay. Ashley?
I mean, it might be set off, but I'd describe it better with other stuff. Something I just realised, because I also did get an early screening of The Old Man and the Gun this week. What is it with John David Washington and period pieces? Because he randomly shows up in that alongside Casey Affleck as the cop investigator, and I'm like, is this like the Twilight Zone alternate reality? As if he wasn't in Black Klansman, as Ron Stallworth. It's like, okay. Hell, it's even got the shit guy from The Wire as well. It's like, what? So I have got an adjustment. I I stuck with Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Timothy Chalamet for Beautiful Boy, Bradley Cooper's impersonation of this actor for A Star Is Born. She can't even make a joke because they even bring that up as a line in the film. That's Sam Elliott, by the way. And Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me? However, I'm dropping out Michael B. Jordan for Black Panther. I'm putting in his co-star from that film, Daniel Kaluuya for Widows. Dear Christ. Oh, every scene Daniel is in this film, he just oozes sort of like, it's not Oscar bait, it's just like really powerful acting. And yeah, that's all I want to say about it. The first scene you see with him like alone, which you do sort of see a teaser of in the trailers if you've seen them, with him in the basketball court. That scene is just like, there's quite a few scenes in it where he's just like, he sort of steals the show, if you will, which I think is enough to get it in here. And you know, I think hopefully it's got enough momentum, and because of course, you know, young, relatively up and coming actor, you know, after all the momentum from Get Out last year, I'd say it's worthy of the supporting actor nod.
Okay. Right Guy says Ali, Driver, Elliott, Grant, and Jordan. Smurfy Boy says Ali, Chalamet, Rockwell, Elliott, and Grant. And Mr. Top Hat says Ali, Chalamet, Elliott, Grant, and Jordan.
I'm wondering how many people will change their minds once they might have seen Widows.
Well, I've had Daniel Kaluuya for a bit, so I'm sticking with him, obviously.
No, but I'm saying with the other predictions in chat and everything.
And then still have
it even makes Jordan look normal.
Still have Timothy Chalamet for Beautiful Boy, as well as I'm sticking with Adam Driver as well for Black Klansman. My changes this time around, I had to drop Sam Rockwell for another Sam. Sam Elliott makes his spot in my lineup. And I actually dropped Stephen James for If Beale Street Could Talk for Mahershala Ali. So I think I made a smart decision in that situation.
You just now?
Yeah, Ali has not been in my lineups until just now. I did not know Green Book was going to be as big as it was going to be. This is
but it won the award last month. You did.
I don't have time to pay attention to these things. Things to do, people to scare, races to run. You know how it works.
Streets to win.
Exactly. If Black Panther overperforms, Michael B. Jordan can get in, or if they really like the favorite, Nicholas Hoult could be a surprise nomination, says Smurfy Boy. Perhaps.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility.
Speaking of possibilities, let's go to a really interesting race right now. Best Actress.
All right, I moved a couple of things around, and I caved in on something.
I know where this is headed. Continue.
I have Elite's Operator for Roma, Glenn Close for The Wife, Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born, and Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me? Yeah, I was all about the holding on to the Glenn Close won't get in thing, even though a lot of people think she's a front runner. And I was going to kind of just, out of stubbornness, run with that like the whole season. Because if she ends up not getting in, I'm going to be really pissed that I didn't stick with it. And maybe seeing the movie helped me out a little bit. I don't know. But and Avarisa, we talked about, you know, how Roma is like Roma's practically a top 2 contender at this point. So that seems really likely. I think I had gotten too comfortable with Saoirse Ronan. Like, I was so sure of it, like, at the start of the season. I just kind of kept putting her in without thinking about it. But, once again, Mary Queen of Scots, Uphill Battle, etc., what we've been saying. I've seen Julia Roberts thrown around occasionally for Bennett's Back, which I think is Peter Hedges' new movie. And I almost, before I decided to buckle down and go with Glenn Close, I had Kidman in for Destroyer as like a double nomination for in leading and supporting, which I can't remember if we've seen since Blanchett in 2007. But yeah, at the last minute I went against it and settled on Glenn Close, so I guess we'll see what happens.
Okay. Ashley?
I've taken out Saoirse Ronan for Mary Queen of Scots. But I'm sticking with Yalitza Aparicio for Roma, Glenn Close for The Wife, Olivia Colman for The Favourite, and Lady Gaga for Star Is Born. And I'm sticking in Viola Davis for Widows. Yeah. This might be the Widows hype thing still going, but it's a very powerful performance for a very interesting character arc that character goes through. All sort of ups and downs. Secretly, having just looked into it and completely forgotten that this film come out, mainly because I was provoked by a certain Shane McMahon, I'm wondering whether there's going to be enough momentum for Osmond Pike for a Private War. So that's sort of like on my cusp. Depends how it does. And of course, the irony is, what if a Private War gets in when Shane McMahon is the best wrestler in the world in a country that can't be named because it's Saudi Arabia?
Oh my god. I didn't get started on that garbage. Welcome, Cassie. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Bad Guy says Emily Blunt, Olivia Colman, Viola Davis, Stephanie Germanotta, of course, Felicity Jones. Survey Boy says Glenn Close, Lady Gaga, Viola Davis, Melissa McCarthy, and Olivia Colman. Mr. Top Hat says Glenn Close, Olivia Colman, Viola Davis, Melissa McCarthy, and Lady Gaga. Top Hat says it were up to me to be Jamie Lee Curtis for Halloween, but it won't happen. Well, once again, because of product category placement, I had to change something. But it's not much. So my Best Actress lineup remains Yalitza Aparicio for Roma, Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born, Viola Davis for Widows, Glenn Close for The Wife, and replacing Emma Stone for The Favorite is Olivia Colman for The Favorite. So yeah, makes sense. As we move on.
I have no idea if you're doing now, but you're frozen on my screen.
Oh no, is he frozen? Has he lost internet? Well, if he's lost internet, how would the call still be? Oh no, because it's
after the.
Oh, there we go. It unfroze.
Tell me what the tornado sounded like.
Almond C23, bitches.
Exactly. Comedy for two is still comedy. Continue.
Yeah, so we're going into the actors now.
Okay. Obviously, anybody paying attention realizes that actor is a fucking bloodbath. I really don't know about this. I'm just kind of running with this right now and seeing what happens. I have Christian Bale for Vice, Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, Clint Eastwood for The Mule, Viggo Mortensen for Green Book, and Robert Redford for The Old Man and the Gun. I didn't go with Rami Malek because I think even though I haven't seen a lot of his performances, I feel like Rami Malek's going to be my horse in the race, and I don't know how much bias is going to control it. So, and then there's the likes of Willem Dafoe for At Eternity's Gate. I had Lucas Hedges for a while there for Boy Erased, and he's also got Ben is Back backing him as well. So with two, it's still possible. I think last time I went with John C. Reilly for Stan and Ollie before I realized that apparently Steve Coogan's getting even more buzz. So I don't know. And I've just kind of never been on the Gosling train in general. So there's that. So as far as like Eastwood, I was a little concerned about having two veterans here, because usually there's like the veteran slot, and it would be him or Redford. But I guess what drove me in that direction was not only does it just seem kind of baity, but also Bradley Cooper is in the movie, and obviously close with Eastwood since American Sniper. And it's like, since Bradley Cooper is already going to be getting the attention he is, he'll probably also be able to use his campaign as kind of a double for the Mule, or at least Eastwood himself, if he should choose to do that. And Mortensen, obviously, with Green Book where it's at now, and just based on the fact that the last time I bet on Mortensen, it paid off. So just on that alone, I went with him. So yeah, and the others are pretty obvious. So
Okay. Ashley?
I'm annoyed now that I didn't actually think of Redford in the list, which might mean that somebody gets moved. Maybe again, because I had Gosling drop out of mine. I've stuck with Steve Carell for Beautiful Boy. Or do we know if Welcome to Marwen is even being run as well? Because that could split the vote, couldn't it?
surely it is.
I'd have thought so, yeah. I don't want to say Steve Carell for something, because I think Beautiful Boy is probably his best ticket in. Bradley Cooper for Star Is Born, I'm sticking with. Willem Dafoe for Eternity's Gate, I'm sticking with. Viggo Mortensen for Green Book. And I've brought back in Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody. Although I liked the film, didn't entirely love it, because I thought it was trying to go a little too soft-centered. You know, I wasn't expecting it to go the Sacha Baron Cohen, like, warts and all sort of stuff, but I expected there to be more touches upon it rather than relatively melodramaing it about. But just for the amount of effort that he put into the role and getting the mannerisms right, Malik's performance in a decent-ish film is, I think, powerful enough to probably get in, at least as of November the 7th, 8th.
All right.
2018.
So we've got in chat the same things, a lot of the same exact things as you guys have been saying. Steve Carell for Welcome to Marwen, Bradley Cooper for Star Is Born, Clint Eastwood for The Mule, Ben Foster for Leave No Trace, and Viggo Mortensen for Green Book. This is Bry Guy. Murphy Boy 92 says Bradley Cooper, Rami Malek, Willem Dafoe, Ryan Gosling, and Christian Bale. Top Hat went with Bale, Carell for Beautiful Boy. Cooper, Malik, and Mortensen. Murphy Boy says everybody thought Redford was going to be nominated for All Is Lost, but it didn't happen. Fair point.
It's probably because he just had that one scene when he just shouted, "Fuck!" It was just like, okay.
An excellent movie, though. And Redford initially said Old Man was going to be his last film, but he since stated he won't be retiring after all. That will likely take away the legacy vote, says Mr. Top Hat. Remains to be seen.
Yeah, but it's still a good film. It's still a good film. That's the issue.
I feel like I'm in a very interesting position here. I bumped out Lucas Hedges. We'll see if that's a bad idea or not. So making his debut in my Best Actor lineup is the one that everybody else has had since day one. That's Viggo Mortensen for Green Book. Joining Ryan Gosling for First Man, Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, Christian Bale for Vice, and Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody. So, like I said, Malek I'm definitely going to stick with until I don't have a reason to stick with him anymore. I've heard great things about the performance. What I've seen, I've very much enjoyed. So we'll see what happens. Here's a tough one, everyone. Best Director. I don't feel confident right now. I'm not going to lie about that.
I actually found this easy this time around.
Says you.
Obviously, the only change I had to make, obviously, was James Gray. And it was pretty easy who the next one in line would have been, at least to me. So I have Damien Chazelle for First Man, Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, and Spike Lee for Black Klansman. I think that speaks for itself with The Favorite where it's at. Lanthimos seems like a really good bet right now, and the others are just kind of... People seem to be trying to push the idea that Chazelle might be falling off, but number one, I think the moon sequence alone is going to keep him just fine.
Yeah. And
secondly, I think that's more of just like it didn't do as well at the box office as they thought it was going to do, but for a movie like that, I don't think that matters. So, yeah.
Ashley?
Very similar to AJ's. I've got Chazelle for First Man, Cooper for The Star Is Born, Cuarón for Roma, and Lanthimos for The Favorite. But Spike Lee drops out for Steve McQueen for Widows. I don't want to talk about that film anymore. I've been gushing too much about it. So all I'll say is it's good form for Lanthimos at the minute, isn't it? Because wouldn't that be like all three of his... I don't think Dogtooth got any recognition, but at least his last three films that he's been on have all been...
Dogtooth got nominated in 4, and then Killing of a Sacred Deer missed entirely.
Oh, did it? Right. I think I'm getting confused because I think it got... Did it get BAFTA noms? Probably.
That seems likely.
Yeah.
And like Spirit noms, I think.
Yeah. But he's in form. So, yeah.
Chat has Bry Guy says Spike Lee, Peter Farrelly, Barry Jenkins, Alfonso Cuarón, and Bradley Cooper. Mr. Top Hat says the movies would be The Favorite, First Man, If Beale Street Could Talk, Roma, and A Star Is Born. And Smurfy Boy says Chazelle, Jenkins, Cuarón, Cooper, and Farrelly. Mine has only changed one name, and I wasn't happy about having to do this, but I'm keeping Spike Lee and Damien Chazelle in there, and Bradley Jenkins, long day, Bradley Cooper and Barry Jenkins. But what I had to do was bump one A for another. I had to bump Adam McKay for Alfonso Cuarón. So we'll see if that was a good idea or not.
I said, you have Cuarón in before?
No, I did not.
No.
I will say, though, whether it's too early for a late horse or words that don't make sense there.
Never heard the word late horse before, but okay.
There seems to be a lot of buzz at the minute regarding the Coen brothers and I can't remember the name of it.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Yeah. That's got a lot of positive reviews because I think it's supposed to be debuting on Netflix like in the next fortnight or so.
Yeah, it's getting a theatrical release, a very limited theatrical release, like shortly before that.
Well, Netflix have realized they've got to do that to actually be considered as like movies now.
Yeah, they're doing it for Bird Box too for some reason.
They're doing the Amazon approach. I mean, they're doing it for Roma, I believe, as well.
I'm pretty sure. I think Cuarón pretty much told them they had to, or
yeah. Otherwise, you're not getting my movie. I'm taking it somewhere else. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say on that.
Here we go again. And of course, since it's going to be a super short podcast tonight, Best Picture.
I'll just say them and then talk. I have Black Klansman. Black Klansman, Can You Ever Forgive Me? The Favorite, First Man, Green Book, If Beale Street Could Talk, Roma, Star Is Born, and Vice. Can You Ever Forgive Me is just kind of the ninth spot I wasn't sure of, even though I've seen buzz for it in picture, at least for the last couple of months. but I didn't realize the passion for it was that high. Obviously, Black Panther's been brought up a lot. I've never quite felt that was going to happen. I wouldn't mind seeing it happen, but I've never really thought that it would.
Well, now that there's no like favorite film or whatever, people's choice film, like they were teasing, it sort of like has to now be considered with the momentum, maybe.
And then, of course, I could have gone with Widows, but maybe I will next time.
When you've seen it, maybe. I'm not going to say definitively.
Wow. Ashley, best picture.
I had to sit for an hour and 40 of a piece of shit called The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. But there we go.
Well, I'm glad I don't have money sometimes.
So I dropped out Roma just because of what, even though it probably should be in there, but I don't want to drop Leave No Trace out of my list. So yeah, I've got A Star Is Born, Beautiful Boy, Black Panther, Black Klansman, The Favorite, First Man, Green Book, Leave No Trace, and Widows. I think Widows was in originally when I did this in August. It's come back in, having now seen it. You know, I wanted to give like a round of applause, but with the hand still needing therapy and everything, it's like I can't. Also, the other like 60 or 70-year-old people that were in the screen would have probably gone, "Shut up!" It's the credits. Like, yeah, that's gonna. It's got to the point where I'm like doing other visits to like see theater stuff, you know, the live theater screenings and whatever, and I'm open now to actually seeing Widows again, even though I've already seen it, which is a rarity for me. Normally, it's like a one and done. If it's one where I feel like I want to see it again on a big screen, that probably means that I really, really like it. So, but Widows is probably staying in until the bloody day of the nominations and it doesn't get in because the Academy are idiots. There you
go. All right. Let's see. Bry Guy says Black Klansman, Black Panther, The Favorite, Green Book, If Bill Street Could Talk, Mary Poppins Returns, The Mule, Roma, A Star Is Born, and the backup 10 is on the basis of sex. Top Hat says Black Panther, The Favorite, First Man, Green Book, If Bill Street Could Talk, Roma, A Star Is Born, Vice, and Widows. Bry Guy says that or Black Panther could pull The Dark Knight. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs is the other Netflix film that will be released in theaters. Spurvy Boy says A Star Is Born, Roma, Black Panther, Bill Street Could Talk, Vice, The Favorite, First Man, Green Book, and Widows. If you remember my list from last time, hasn't changed one bit. My best picture lineup is Vice, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, If Bill Street Could Talk, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star Is Born, and Widows. Yeah. Sip one easy, gentlemen. And our next podcast is now in the books.
go.
So lots of content, like I said, coming in the near future. AJ content is basically taking over the network pretty much from Thursday through Sunday, which is good. New episodes of Speaking Bluntly coming out every Thursday and Saturday. AJ's movie reviews on Friday and Sunday for Versus. Ashley will be returning with Gaming with Ash in the near future, as well as Snack Stash segments and his wrestling content that's long overdue. And eventually, we're going to be bringing back the WWE Raw podcast, which is basically our Monday wrestling podcast to talk about a little bit of everything so I don't go absolutely insane with the current status of the WWE product.
If anything, we'll probably do it after the NXT Survivor Series weekend, if that's even possible.
And look at the schedule, check what's going on with that. Mount's actually going to be in town that weekend, so that's not going to be a problem at all. So we'll be good on that. Yeah, because we actually have a 5K to do that weekend too, so that'll be fun. As always. So yeah, that's going to be your videos for tonight. That's going to be your podcast for this evening. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight or tomorrow, depending on how you're looking at things. Once again, Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter. Ashley's my name UK.
AJ cannot be found on any social media, but you can leave a comment below if you'd like to chat with AJ for any reason. He will be more than happy to answer any questions you guys have within reason, of course. Cassie says, even though it was a short live stream, I always have been going to go back and watch what I missed. We appreciate that greatly. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Whether we didn't promote this show, and we're glad that we had so many of you joining us for it. Our live numbers are not the greatest sometimes, but our archive numbers are pretty solid, so we appreciate that. We talked about AJ's schedule is going to be coming in the near future. So like I said, we're going to continue more Voices of Liberty on the Popcast Network, as well as more Sip and Snacks. Everyone and I did some more Sip and Snacks at Epcot and a couple of other locations. So that's going to be coming up in the near future. We have more Voices of Liberty. I've got video from 98 Degrees. That's going to be up soon. Hanson coming up soon. Got to see them again. So yeah, that video is coming up soon. Simple Plan from Warped Tour stuff hasn't been put up yet. That's coming up in the near future. So we got a lot of stuff coming in the near future. So stay tuned to the Popcast Network for more awesome content. So I want to thank everyone for watching tonight. And once again, go out, watch a movie. And if you have any inclination to do so, leave a comment at the bottom and tell us what you think is going to run away with the nominations come Oscar Day. So once again, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. Thank you, AJ, for joining us yet again.
Yeah.
That and I drop in, Donnie. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Screw Fantastic Beasts. Watch Widows, you bitches.